Good night, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, and thank you so much for joining me tonight. I am super excited to be speaking with this queen tonight, Sonia Lewis, and she is definitely going to help us learn a lot about maybe mistakes we've made in the past, or if you are currently a student, helping us. Hi, Angel. How are you doing tonight? Helping us to prevent from making mistakes that maybe we should not make. Good night, church boy Magic. How are you doing tonight? Hope you guys are safe. So while I'm waiting for her to join us in tonight, I'm just gonna let good night. Just waiting to see. Let me get this queen in here. But how are you all doing tonight? I hope everyone is having an okay week. Sorry, when I'm typing the person in here, I cannot see the full screen. And there our queen is, so I'm gonna get her in here. Yes. So I am excited. What is it, Tuesday? Did everyone have tacos for dinner? Hi! Good night, queen. How are you doing tonight?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Everything that could be going wrong was going wrong, but thank you so much for your patience.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited to have you tonight.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So welcome to Downtown. Don't waste no time with negativity. And as I was letting everyone know, tonight we have Sonia Lewis, CEO of the Student Loan Doctor LLC in the building today. Okay? And I was saying, I wish I had known you or had you in my life when I needed this the most, but it's never too late. And we're going to get into that today. So how are you tonight?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm excited to be on with you.
So I'm wondering why. Sorry, let me get back there we go. And how have you just been holding up? Because I know it's a pandemic. It's something none of us have ever experienced before. You know, life is different now. If there's ever going to be like a new norm again. So just how are you doing? How have you been holding up with that?
Yeah, well, I've stayed busy. I decided I was going to teach and educate throughout the pandemic so that I could stay mentally clear and focused. And then I wanted others to be encouraged and informed because, you know, life is not what we know it to be anymore. So we have to prepare for a new normal. And a new normal also can affect our finances too. So.
Woo. Yes, that is a word. I want to ask you first off, you know, just to gain a little bit more from you, is a question we ask everyone here that comes at Downtown. And before we go any further, I'd like to let all my guests know, including you tonight, Sonia, that this is a safe space with me. And the audience here knows that I know your audience more than knows that as well. So it is a safe space and you feel more than free to be real and open with me. So with that being said, what is a situation where you could definitely say it was negative, no questions asked about it, but somehow, some way, you might have even surprised yourself and you rose above and you chose not to waste any type of negativity?
That was negative. Let's see.
It was definitely negative.
I don't know if I have like one experience that comes to mind. I think anytime I've had to shift or pivot from different relationships, whether that be romantic or whether that be friendships, I think that sticks out the most because every new level, I always say everyone can't go with you. And so most times that can be seen as a negative thing, and it feels uncomfortable. And I know that I would be, you know, really
negative to you or to the people that you can no longer.
Oh no, probably to both, because I feel like there's a knowing. There's a knowing that like when you're breaking up with someone, or there's a knowing that when you're ending a friendship, I feel like there's a knowing. Like you feel that there's something that's changing.
Yeah.
Change is uncomfortable, right? Like nobody
Yeah.
comes up and says, today I'm going to probably this relationship. And so I think that Yeah, I think that probably would be on the biggest on my radar, because I do find that as I grow, change, and evolve, everyone that I wanted to be in that space with me cannot make it to that next level with me.
Yeah.
Um, and so I don't know if negative's the word for that. I would say like, upsetting, sad, or but I do realize that because I am very spiritual, if God wanted them to go, they would go.
Yeah.
But then also, I also think that sometimes God will hold things from you until you release some people.
Yes.
So that's kind of been my life lessons, I would say, over the last few years. It's kind of like your favorite toy. Like, it's time with Barbies, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Play with it one more time.
One
But
more time.
when you give away the Barbies, or someone that needs the Barbies but more than you, God brings you a bicycle. Like, I don't know. Like, so there's
No, I hear. I agree with what you're saying, and
that
that
really.
is so true because you can apply things that situation to like almost every, not even almost every aspect of your life, and it's just like that knowing.
Mm-hmm.
Whew, what you said, I was like, that is such a key part, and I I lacked a lot of knowing when I was in college and university, being the first from an immigrant family to like be doing like first generation, because
Mm-hmm.
my family background is Jamaican, and being the first to go to post-secondary school or university college and do all those things, it was, I lacked a lot of understanding, a lot of, you're just learning what they tell you and
Right.
putting, all of those pieces together. What I mean, you could have went to school, figured out your situation, been like, all right, well, I'm debt free, move on with life, and just
Mm-hmm.
what convinced or what led you, I should say, not convinced you, but what led you to starting your LLC and dedicating your life's passion and purpose to helping other students or people with student loan debt be
Yeah.
free?
So I had student loans, and I have student loans I'm still paying off.
Yeah.
And when I started the business a few years ago, it really was coming from a place of, this is also my professional background, so I know what to do and how to coach people and walk people through the conversation, right?
Yes.
I was also realizing that a lot of people, it's not common knowledge of what to say and do when working with a lender, or how to begin tackling your repayment. And so, because I think I took those things for granted, initially when I started helping people, initially it's because I was helping people from church. I was,
Yeah, that's usually how it goes.
yeah, like, you don't know what to do. Like, all you got to do is, and I was like, oh, wait a minute. So, I didn't hear God tell me to help everybody like for free, So I was like, well, this.
That part. Yep.
So, when I started the business, it really was just to help people, be affordable, give people information that they need to move forward and not be stuck. That's been my biggest thing. Like, how do I pivot? How do I help people pivot from one place to another with their finances? And so the business has evolved, immensely since we started off with helping people at a corner bakery. To now just, being a household name or a brand that people can, see synonymous with student loan debt. So I like to be on the other side of, I would say, the smile of student loans. But, my goal is to really help people that look like you and I, particularly
Yeah.
that, because it is disproportionately affecting our community. And when I say African American, brown, black community. And so, when you talk about generational wealth and building and legacy, the problem is you can't, you can't get to that next level with wealth and understanding money when you have this huge saddle of debt on your lap and you're trying to make a next move. And so it's not possible. So, showing people how to levitate from there as well.
Ooh, I love that. We're levitating out of all of this 2021 and beyond. We're levitating. Okay, guys? You hear the words. Here downtown, we say eat fruit and mind your business. And when we say that, we mean that in the literal sense, because eating fruit is great for your skin, it's great for your health, it's great for your yoni, all those things. And as well, in the spiritual sense, where fruit being you know, knowledge or things that will help us to gain understanding and inspiration. So you're dropping a lot of fruit tonight. I'm definitely getting a full meal's worth tonight, because those are all, is very important. And I feel like a huge part with the finances that's also always like derailing us in our community is the ego. Like that whole sweeping it under the rug. Nobody likes to talk to each other. Like I'm sure, especially with working with the church community, you must have encountered that a lot. People just being like, I don't know, or they don't want to tell you everything, or they're not honest about what's going on. If you're not honest, then how can you receive the honest help that you need?
Yeah, I think that what I found initially with this business, that nobody wanted to talk about money or student loans. It's very taboo. It's still a big taboo. But with our platform, I know for a fact that we are game changing the conversations people were not having around student loans and money. And to be a part of that narrative, that where you can come up to someone like, girl, did you know about, or my student loans was, you know, like these were conversations that were not happening before our business and our platform. And so now that we can be so open about the student loans that you do or don't owe, or the interest, or, you know, some suggestions, what should you do, repayment plans, it's just nice, and it's refreshing to see people talk so boldly about their debt, and helping each other, whereas before we would just be so cute and cursy about, you know, about debt. But now we're just at a place where we're solution based and not judging each other. And so I think that had to happen in order to really get help and healing, because I was telling someone earlier that when I started this business, I noticed that the most, and it's still the same way sort of now, but maybe for different reasons, this page gets a lot of traction between 8 p.m. and like 3 a.m. And those are the nighttime hours in which people are very unsettled about their money. And so you can't sleep. You're worried. It's very difficult. You're tossing, you're turning. You're online looking for solutions to bring in some money in. And so what I noticed, and when I thought about my own self, when I was very, very stressed out with my own finances years ago, I couldn't sleep. I would wake up, get on Instagram, get off Instagram, get on Facebook, and just be so antsy. And so just, you know, being available to people, to have them have resources they can tune into, videos they can watch, or make them feel good when it's done, or make them feel hopeful. I think that's something I'm really, really proud about with our platform. That was not the narrative prior to starting this Student Loan Doctor. So I think that is something that we're really seeing take a shift, and just that conversation being more transparent is really helpful.
When you started this journey of, you know, creating the Student Loan Doctor, at that time, did you know that you were like the only, like at that time there were no other Black women that had like, you knew that that was a market that was open?
No.
Or was it like did someone come to you and be like, did you realize that, you know, there's nobody else that has done?
So I had some really amazing friends. One of my friends, Nehemiah Davis, he was like, so I've been Googling, I've been searching, I don't see anything like this out there. Nobody's doing it like you're doing it. And I'm like, you know, not to be funny, when I started this journey, this was not supposed to be a business. I was supposed to be a college dean, everyone. Lewis,
right? I would have loved for you to be my dean. Oh my gosh.
I had a whole trajectory ahead of me. Like this whole thing, guys, you have thrown me off of my life. No, I'm joking. So I had to be open to change. And when I saw what God was doing, I'm like, you didn't say this to me when I was in grad school. Like I didn't hear that. So, so you know, coming out and being bold about it. Like we are the first African-American woman-owned. Like that's a proclamation that really changed the narrative for our business. And when we announced it around Black History Month in 2018, and when it came out and it went viral, like literally 2 days later, viral, and I was like, oh, I was like, it'll just be like for a moment, but then Steve Harvey was talking.
How did you know? How did you know it went viral?
So, well, I had an older iPhone at the time. I remember thinking, oh, gotta go to the store, upgrade. But I was so busy. I thought the iPhone was having a seizure because it started, well, I don't know if it was shaking, but I think mentally in my mind it was blinking so much I thought it was shaking.
Yeah.
You know, we got 800 DMs and 800 emails and like and we were in the office, and I remember calling some more friends to my office like, I need your help. Like, so had scheduled like a console or discovery call. We would send out handwritten thank you cards. Like, you know, service is very important.
I'm well tired.
Yes. So we still send out those postcards at a certain stage in our process. But I was like, we've got postcards to send out. And so I'm cracking up. I'm like, this something's not normal. Something's not right.
Yeah.
Long story short, I just remember that moment thinking like life is probably never going to be the same. And I wasn't even really aware of the Shade Room. Like I might have heard of it in passing, but my best friend called me and she was cussing and she was so excited. She's like, girl, we're going to be, bleep, 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 bleep. What's that? She's like, follow this page right now. And because I told her how I got the phone call. Maisha used to work at the Shade Room and she called me. I'm not sure how she got my phone number. And she called me and she interviewed me. It was like a 5-minute interview. She was like, posting you. And I'm like, okay. So, you know, I know the Shade Room gets a lot of slack for the things that they post, but that we were considered a positive business alert post. Posted us. It was a game changer. And I really want to say for anyone that's starting a business, it's so important to have systems in place and protocols, and you don't get ready when you stay ready. And so I was already ready. So when the business had hit, like the traction we were looking for, because I think at that time I was averaging like, 50, 60 new clients a month. It was
you definitely had the ball rolling. Yeah.
At that point, maybe one coach.
Yeah.
I think I had one coach. And when everything hit, I remember thinking I have to train, I have to scale, but the systems were there. So it just booked my calendar out for a month. And then I had to find how to train in between then. And then I had just released the book. So my book sales, we had sold 1,000 books, literally. So I had to find my friends, kids that like to tape and glue. It was like a question. I would not want to return back to those days, but
but the journey's so beautiful when you reflect.
Yeah, it was a fun time. It was scary, but I just knew I was like, I don't even know if I slept in the entire month of February. I just know that I had prayed for what was happening. I wasn't sure about what was happening. And I was just going to run with it. And I think a lot of people around me, maybe even myself initially, thought it was short-lived or thought like, oh, just go away, soon. No. But God is good. Like the traction has been consistent and ever growing. Doors and rooms I now can get into because the brand has been strong. It has been established. The people I have hired, they're still with me. They're solid. The customer service has been good. So that's been really important to me. Like, social media and IG hype, that's really fun. And I really do play a lot on Instagram.
But there's real life. Real life.
I'll post bags, shoes, trips, cars. I mean, I really have fun, right? But that's
fun. Yes.
Because I work really hard too. So
yes, queen. Yes.
But today, it's a real business with a real payroll and a real social responsibility. And so I don't forget that in the midst of having fun. And I know that people want to see fun, but I also want people to trust, know that if you're paying me and my team, you can trust us, and we do have your best interests at heart. Outside of all the fanfare and the fun, we really want to see people get help. So keeping that in mind, keeping that first is probably why we're doing as well as we're doing, and not just an overnight business, or success that goes away overnight as well.
Yes. I love that. Ooh, you gave so much fruit in that. I'm eating fruit, minding my business, but you gave so much fruit in that. A key part I want to take out of that, and if you guys missed it, you're hopping in and out, please when you're watching this replay, go back, rewind, because I got my notes here. I wasn't even able to take it down as you're giving the gems, but something very important is being prepared. A lot of the times people get caught up in this whole Instagram life and looking at everything, but they're not really prepared for that moment of success, prepared for that moment of going viral, prepared for whatever moment it is that God is literally preparing you for, to be like, okay. And a lot of the times I find myself included, which I'm sure you can testify to as well, where it's just that time of getting angry and frustrated, like, why are things happening yet, da, 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 da. But we sometimes may not even realize the steps that we are missing, that we are still being prepared for, so that when that moment happens, like the Shade Room posting you, or being featured on Black Enterprise, or being like a part of things with the White House, like just all these things, you are prepared. And you're not out there looking crazy, and then that will tarnish your brand if you're not prepared. Yes. No problem, school age. We love you.
And we're sharing such good information. I'm telling everyone to share this live out with 5 people, because often I don't do interviews on this page or platform, so it's important, because I think a lot of people come to learn and have fun with us, but a lot of people know our original story, and sometimes I'll tell it every now and again, or you could find it, I'm sure, but it is important, because someone watching definitely may be thinking about starting a business or might have a business. And the things that you see, the glitter, the glitz, the glam, you know, it was a lot of hard work. It is a lot of hard work. I don't ever want to make it seem like it's not. It's work. It's hard work being a brand, a leader, and a business owner, because a business owner and a leader are 2 different things.
Yes.
Everyone's like, well, how do you hire great people and keep great people? Because I had to develop my leadership skills, which, you know, God gives you a boot camp before everything you're supposed to do. And I remember thinking, I did a leadership boot camp with my company before I had left. And I was like, am I ever going to use this stuff, like, ever? And I was like, probably won't. And then coming down to it, I was recalling recently all of those leadership conversations, the books I had to read, the things I needed to do. And so it's just really, really important that everything you've been through, whatever job you've had, whatever journey you're on, that you just keep in mind you're in a boot camp of life. Like,
you have to build your skills and build those resources. Like, if I never worked in a law firm, if I never worked like at private clubs with like some of the most like elite, like rich people, I would not know how to move and maneuver, send emails, or to work Excel spreadsheet, like whatever the tools are that now I can implement to my business and be like, okay, I need to build this or this, or whatever resources that help you to build your business to make it a solid foundation. It's I didn't know the conversation would have steered this way today, but it's ironic that this is the meat of the conversation, because today I literally shared a post on my personal page just to say, don't skip the small steps. It matters. I know it's frustrating. I know it's tiring, which, like, I'm sure you could give like 1,000+ stories on those moments for you. But now when you look back, you're like, it was really good I set up that email, or it was really good that I made sure this name was the same name across all platforms, or it was really good that, you know, just the things that we may feel may not matter. Oh, I'll just deal with it later. Just do it properly. Because when you cut corners, especially with finances, you'll learn that is when issues can arise. So when it comes to the process of work with you, Student Loan Doctor, and getting a part of that process, and Sonia, I got debt. I need to clear it. The school is up my butt. What are you telling these people? What do they need to have? What do they need to know before getting enrolled with you and getting closer to that financial freedom?
I would say it's going to go a few ways, because our platform is talking about different methods for. So it could be that you're interested in loan forgiveness, public service loan forgiveness, which is a great option. It could be that you're interested in just finding a method and a plan to pay down your loans quickly. It could be that you're interested in what we're teaching more recently, like how you become eligible for business credit. And oh no, the business is closing, you know.
Very important for these times.
Right. So understanding how to leverage different opportunities will help you understand what your next steps would look like or what they'll be in terms of paying down or paying off your student loan debt. So everyone's different. No one student loan journey is the same. Everything's different. I mean, we could talk to someone that owes 10,000 versus somebody that owes 200,000. And the way we would advise one, we would definitely advise differently than the other. So I think it's the person's responsibility that when they're on our page listening and learning, it's their responsibility to say, hey, you know, this is something that would be a great fit for me. I'm going to dig in more here in this direction, because I'm really, really big on, while we have a hands-on student loan business in which we can help you, I'm also really big on people learning and understanding and doing stuff for themselves.
Yes.
Not a to get services or help from us, and then you jack up your loans or your credit again, and then back. Like, that's not a compliment to us.
That's huge.
Yeah, a compliment is sustaining it and then send it a friend, but you should be good. Like, don't come back. You know, come give reviews. So I just think that we also are in a popcorn society or Amazon society where everything overnight. And I'm like, you didn't get these student loans overnight. You didn't ruin your credit overnight. So be patient with yourself when working on your loans or your credit, because these are life skills. These are skills that you're going to need to teach your children or your children or your nieces and your nephews or your neighbors. Because, again, going back to our community, we don't have conversations enough about money, but oftentimes we don't know what conversations to have. And so if you're listening to the page and you're learning something, it could just be a simple gem or nugget. Don't hold it to yourself. You know, call and text. I wanted you to know. Boom, boom, boom. So we can keep the conversation going in a way in which people don't feel judged.
Exactly. I completely agree. And I feel like with queens like yourself and more, I had the privilege of speaking with Naomi Jean-Philippe a couple of weeks ago, and she's an estate lawyer. And with women like you, like, the more and more I get to meet you and learn of like the amazing things you're doing for our communities and just the world in general and really adding value, I have no doubts that we will get there. You know, years ago, I got to speak with Angel Rich, and they say she's titled as like the next Steve Jobs, and really beautiful lady to speak with. But she wrote a book, The History of the Black Dollar, and I remember, you know, just speaking to her about how things were never even set up for us to win to begin with. And that's why it's very important for when we're just gonna, because it's all about you tonight, where it's just like, with people like Sonia Lewis, you need to invest in them. You need to listen to what they're saying, because for one, you have proof of concept. like you have more than enough people to say she knows what she's talking about. And number two, what is the negativity in fixing something that needs to be fixed in the first place? Like, what do you really gain from it by helping me to clear my debt? I'm not buying you anything, you know? And that's how people act sometimes. So it's very important for us to hear this real talk and know that this is very important, very, very important. I want to ask you another staple question here that we do have at Downtown, which is, you have the 4 elements. You have earth, air, fire, and water. Which element do you resonate with, or do you feel like represents you the most, and why?
Let's see. Probably water. First of all, I love water, so just move me by the ocean, child.
Yes!
I breathe better in warmer climates with water. But because water can take on different shapes. It can be ice, right? It can be steam, water in its natural form. So for me, I would say my life probably most resembles water, because at any stage in which someone has met me, I've probably still been the same version of me, but just wearing a different hat. And so,
Mm.
college advisor. Years before that, I worked and served students when I was in college. I was always like a go-to person in college, and I had different jobs in which I had to be a go-to person,
Yes.
like, you know, like a paid big sister, if you will, or
Right. You do give me that energy, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like I've known you forever.
yeah.
I love that.
So I'm like, okay, well, this is a natural.
This is the role I have in life.
And I know that my hats are going to evolve and change as I become older because my interests are changing. And I'm just really, really open and flexible and fluid like water too, because, you know, success doesn't look like one form. Success for me right now is teaching through my platform and growing the platform, and it gives me just such great joy when I see different, you know, private messages like, girl, I just want you to know, boom, 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 or here are my screenshots, here's my receipts. And so that gives me pleasure and joy. But then, you know,
the real moments.
To be a great giver and you know, on a bigger level, want to do scholarships and give backs. And so for me, it just is going to keep changing and evolving my bar of success. And I'm also, which is probably good and bad, I'm not easily like pleased with things. So I'm relaxed, or I'm never satisfied. And so a gift and a curse.
Yes.
I time to, like, you know, smell the roses and pat myself on my back, or, you know, like recently we just put up billboards around the city, right? But that's,
Congratulations.
yeah, it's really cute. It's fun.
She's like, it's really cute.
I know, right? Even how I say it. But like, and so like, to me, that's what I'm supposed to do. Like, I don't have to get a job well done or congratulations. Like, that's the business. Like, you know,
you're locked in. You're super locked in.
yeah, but I'm always very like, what's the word? And I don't know. My first, it's, I could be super silly, but I'm also very like, oh, it's a billboard, you know, like,
yeah.
And then all the great stuff that's coming up, and I know that's coming up, and then the things that are going to happen. Somebody asked me, what would be your mile marker of success? Like, what would be your, and I don't know. I thought it would be to sit with Oprah. Hasn't happened yet, but I don't even know if that would. So I don't know. It's just that's one of those things about being an entrepreneur that probably sucks. And anybody can relate that there's this standard you hold yourself to that may never get met, but that's what keeps you going and thriving. But I would say this too, you know, you have to remain flexible, because if you don't, you're going to miss out on what God can do. If you get locked into a thought, an action, or a pattern, or what if I never wanted to play big? And what if I didn't want to ruffle feathers? I wouldn't serve. And so every level that requires me to play bigger is because there's more people to serve. And so I have to remind myself that, you know, nobody's going to know about me if I just stay in my house in the pandemic, you know, behind my phone. Like, no, you got to get on live. You got to get you got to travel. You got to go on these trips. You got to, because you have to meet people and people and connect with them where they're at. And so it's very uncomfortable because I am an introvert. I just pretend like I'm an extrovert. But there's no one served inside of my own little cocoon of things. So it's just really fun looking at all the things that are happening and looking back on some things that have happened.
Yeah.
And then I have to like remind myself, like, be present. Because I'm like, oh, well, next month we'll just, you know, and then on. So, yeah, it's like a gift and a curse. I know you probably hear that.
No,
too.
I agree, and I totally get what you're saying. Like, I definitely guilty of it as well, where it's just like you're so focused on the next steps and what's coming and everything going on, just running the business. It is very helpful to have those people in your life, or people that will just be like, hey, remember this, or whatever the case is, to help you just remind yourself, like, keeps you grounded, you know. Yesterday was International Women's Day, but for those of you that follow me, you know that women, especially Black women, that's something I support 365, regardless of the day or not. But with that day, you know, I seen a lot of how women were interacting with each other or lack thereof. And I just wanted to ask you, you know, just as an entrepreneur, and I feel like I was speaking to a girlfriend of mine privately, and I was just saying, like, it really frustrates me when certain women act a certain way to each other, because we are all like literally women. Like, we go through the same things, and knowing what we know as women, what we go through that men like will never really understand, we must deal with each other on a much more kind, and I'm not finding the specific word I want to use, but a better level, you know. What are your thoughts on that, or how do you feel just with the environment of women and with the president, everything that has, you know, changed? You would think it's opened people more up to being warm and supportive.
So I think that it's interesting. Along this journey, I can think of several women that have lent themselves to me and have been open, with open arms, and you know, just paved the way, like game changers. And I try to be that way for other women as well. And then I can think of the times where I've encountered women that weren't so nice. And you know what I realized, when you're meeting someone that's not nice or in a bad place, or they've treated you bad, or they haven't treated you with what you thought you should have been treated with, the due respect. One, you should say a prayer for that person, because you really don't know what people are going through. I just met you, sis. Like, that's on you. Yeah. We don't know what home is like. We don't know what type of relationship they're in or not in. We don't know if they lost someone recently. We just don't know, right? So I'm always really conscious to say, that is your ish, not mine. And I'm going to still stay in my happy box that I arrived in. You can't taint or tatter this box. And it has to almost like bounce off of you when you meet somebody that's not positive, or when you meet somebody that's just not welcoming. Like, I'm not about to take that on, you know. So that's number one. I don't take on people's stuff. Like, I'm really, really good with that, and that's a muscle that I had to learn to develop. Can my feelings get hurt? Absolutely. But to get stuck in something, or to internalize something when another woman is kind or lending herself, or, you know, and I'm also really blunt, and I actually just don't kind of care what I say nowadays. That freedom comes from, I write my own checks and I write other checks.
Ooh,
I don't really do how you think you're going to treat me, because the other thing is, sometimes we're dependent on others, and so we have to sometimes excuse other people's behaviors because we're depending on their relationship or I am the connect. So I don't have to play with people I don't want to play with. I don't play that game either. So, you know, there's a nice freedom I've gained. And I wouldn't trade that for the world, where I'm not kissing nobody's butt. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not clawing to get in any rooms or be seen or associated. My gifts will make room, and they have made room for me.
Because your cause is real. Your cause is real. And when you're pretending to be something that you're not, it will show.
There's this thing, because of media and TV, that you have to be a mean girl, or you have to be no, I don't have to be polite. And I don't know how we can even say that we're, like, you know, we're of the Lord or Christians if you're a Christian and you're mean. Like, how you going?
It doesn't add up.
Thanks for you there. Like, so it's, I'm being funny, but I think that for me, I don't allow people to treat me any type of way. You just not, because there's going to be a conversation. So I've often had to go into spaces. I never forget, I went to Atlanta recently, and I entered the space, and everybody there, I'm just being honest, child, their nose was so far up their butt. You would have thought everybody in there had arrived. Ain't nobody had no bills. Nobody ever been to an entrepreneur, but they ain't have nothing. Like, it's just interesting. Everybody in there was just so.
It was real stuffy.
And I was, either the energy in here is going to change by what I'm about to say when my friend gives me this mic, or I'm going I don't have to stay. I don't have to live like that. Like, so that's my mantra for 2021.
I don't have to live like that.
So I grabbed the mic. I said, "Good evening," and everyone's looking. Oh, well, I said, "Oh, okay." So he looked at me like, "Don't go rogue." I'm going rogue. Who cares? And I was like, so I said, "I'm not sure what room I stepped into." I said, "But the room I thought I was coming into were game changers, were connectors." And I said, "And the energy in here is really bad." I said, "Everyone in here is so caught up in their own stuff that you're missing your next blessing or opportunity. Everybody in this room gets money with a period. Right. So what we're not about to do is act like anybody's above anybody in this room. So unless the energy is going to change," I said, "I think that we should cancel today's event." So my friends looking at me like, "I didn't tell you to say that." I'm like, "No, like, we're not about to do that. Like, first off, I done got on a plane. I'm excited to celebrate my friend. It was for one of his events." Yeah. So I don't embarrass him. But I'm like, this is who you're associated with? You left Philadelphia for this? And then after I said that, you can see people getting uncomfortable. Yeah, get uncomfortable. Yeah. Y'all gonna be uncomfortable. Yeah. And it shift and change, because you could be proud of yourself. You can be confident, but you don't have to be nasty or snooty or, you know, we're not about to do that. So I think that sometimes you have to call people on it too, because there's an image and there's a perception that you have to be, and I'm not on it, you know, because there's no relationship that can be formed that way. I can't exchange with you what you need, and I can't get what I need from you if we're both stuck up in the clouds. So, and it also just doesn't create space for anyone that's watching that may have been in the room that's aspiring, because why would you want to aspire to be that person or that girl, you know? For me, I'm gonna just say this, like, mean girls are broke. Like, I'm gonna let you know right now, I ain't never met somebody that's doing well, multi-millionaire, assets, lives in abundance, loves the Lord.
Sorry, I had to give you the air horn for that.
That's it. I've never met anyone that was really on their grind, that was just mean, you know, standoffish because you're nervous or shy, whatever. But mean, like a mean girl. No, mean girls are broke. Got bad credit. They getting cheated on. They bags is fake. Child run a whole list. Yep. So you don't even like. I don't want to be those girls, and I never wanted to be. And so I think it's interesting as I understand money and as I'm coming into wealth. I'm like, so what we're not about to do is be like that, you know? So, you know, and so when you find girls and you see these girls and they're like, you know, like we don't know.
It doesn't, I remember I seen a meme, Sonia. I know I'm paraphrasing, but the meme was like, it was something like, these girls in high school were so mean. And then they want to come talking about support my business on Instagram. And it's just like, it doesn't add up. And that's one thing, you know, that's very important. While at times it wasn't always comfortable for me to be myself, I still stood that ground, because I understood that being something that you're not, it's just, it's not going to happen. And moving with a genuine heart and pure intentions is the things that really, and respect, are things that really help to carry you far in life. I know you do have to go soon, so I just had 2 more questions, because I do respect your time, truly. So what my first question, which is perfect segue to what you were saying, is, you know, I know there are women in here, myself included, that I look at women like you and it's true inspiration and motivation to me to just keep going and working towards my goals and attaining my goals. And when it comes to the Student Loan Doctor and you getting up every day and running that business and just being a female entrepreneur, what is one of those things, or a few of those things that you can maybe say that has helped carry you through over your journey or through this time, or that helps you to get up every day and say, or even if it's not every day, but at some part of the day, to help you to say, I'm going to keep going, I'm not going to stop?
I would say it's probably my community. I really do have like the nicest community. I don't know who has a nicer community. I don't go around looking, but I know my people by name. I know them by their IG name, I should say. And so it makes my day when I get a kind word or a funny meme, or, you know, I can go to my page and see positive things posted there or conversations that are happening. Like, to know that that was created from scratch and that was cultivated with love. Like, I'm really, really proud of it. So And then the other thing is like now, literally where I live, I love where I live. I can see my billboard from the bedroom window. So not to be funny, I'm going to go to sleep looking at it, highlight it, go up.
I love that.
Myself. And the reason why I did that was it's part motivation, and I really love the location in which it's at because people get stuck in traffic right there. But I really chose that purposefully because it is no one that is going to oftentimes call and motivate me. And it's like who refills the pitcher when I'm pouring out. And so sometimes you have to create your own little things, your own little inside jokes like, I see you, girl,
Yes.
Now, I went out and true story, I went and bought this cute little wig for you because
you look fabulous.
Oh,
you
girl.
look great. I meant to tell you, I was like, the blonde though?
Oh no, it's
the
so
blonde though?
well, my here tomorrow, but I thought she was coming today. Confusion. And so I was like, I can't get on live looking like Winter. I was like, I'm scared of people. So I'm riding to the store to go get this what is the wig.
Yeah.
Ask the billboard, I'm like, you don't look like that girl today. So I'm cracking up. So, but no, it's so for me, I'm naturally self-motivated. I do listen to my podcast. I read my books. Yeah. And then I also have some really, really good friends. I'm in an amazing relationship that's loving and supportive. So there's no in my world, there's no thing as a bad day. There's no such thing as a bad day. I'm allowed to have a bad moment. And bad moments can exist for 3, no more than 5 minutes, and then I must move on. That's how I've trained myself.
I love that.
There is no bad day. I'm too blessed to have a bad day. I have positive going on to have a bad day. Right. I can have a bad moment. I'm allowed to have a bad moment. But to give a whole moment a day,
apply that.
Day, my God, like that, I can get more money, but I can get more time. So nobody's allowed to take a day away from me. You're going to get a moment, and then we're going to go on to the next moment.
Ooh, queen talk. I want to say thank you like 1,500% for your time today. My last question, just a fun question that we asked, and I'll let you go for tonight. If you see on my personal page, I love me some food. I love me cooking me some food. I'm doing all the things in the kitchen. Now, I want to ask you, Sonia, what did you eat today? And please take me there.
Oh, I went to Steak 48. Have you been yet? Steak 48?
No, I haven't, but I love me some steak.
It's all the rave. It's the best new restaurant in major cities. The customer service is phenomenal. The food is phenomenal. So I had chicken fried lobster. So I don't eat chicken, but it's chicken fried. So it's lobster fried like chicken, like Popeye's chicken. It's so interesting. This macaroni with Alaskan king crab and shrimp. With some sauteed spinach. I don't know. I
have your vegetables.
I had to take a nap before today.
You have to.
I was so full, but I was also there with one of my best friends, and I really wanted him to experience the restaurant. He's like, "This is the nicest restaurant I've ever been to," and that's how I felt when I had first went to the one in Houston. And so I wanted him to feel that same way. And I'm like, "You deserve restaurants like this. This can be a norm for you, So I'm really big on experiences, and so that made me so happy, child. And when we get off, I'm going to do my call, and then I'm going to go back to my chicken fried lobster.
Yes, you got leftovers. Yes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I always take leftovers. So, it's called Steak 48.
I'm going to check that out. Listen, I love me some seafood. I love doing my seafood boils. It's just sometimes like, always like posting that stuff to the ground because how people can be. But I'd be loving me my seafood boils. So thank you for sharing that with me. And that is just my my unorthodox way of checking in on you, making sure you ate something today and you're still taking care of you. Because with everything we're doing as entrepreneurs, we can definitely get caught up into forgetting to eat sometimes, forgetting to go to the bathroom, not forgetting to sleep, but lacking of sleep. So it's very important we remember these things for ourselves. You're a true queen. You gave a lot of heavy fruit today, and I'm truly appreciative. And thanks for your time. I want you to let everyone know where they can follow you, where they can continue to support you, and if you choose, where they can get in contact with you, Sonia.
So Instagram is our favorite place to have fun and learn. The Student Loan Doctor. I would recommend coming back here. That's in the link in my profile. There's all type of gems, goodies,
Yes. Yeah.
and product services they can indulge in as they see fit. And our website is drpleasehelpme.com. However you want to spell it, you'll get there.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I would just say jump in, learn, indulge, and then connect with us by way of a service or product and get into our community if that's a good fit for you. So I'm really excited, and thank you for today. I just love your whole look. What color lipstick is that? It's so pretty.
It's actually a pencil. Oh my gosh. It's a pencil. I didn't have enough time to do something, so I was like, let me just give you a little lip. This is all for you, Sonia. Thank you.
Sheba's for you, darling.
Thank you. And look, she looks wonderful. I love it.
All right, have a good night, and thank you so much for having me.
You as well. Thank you, everyone. This has been Downtown. Don't waste no time with negativity. Make sure you check in with Queen Sonia Lewis. Have a great night. Continue to eat fruit and mind your business.
See ya.